about with conflict is that really we so quickly blame the other person.
Well, it's because it's your fault.
It's pretty much your fault, and you know it.
Let me tell you why it's your fault.
It is so easy for us to think about why the other person is doing it wrong. But what we actually teach is for you to take some time to figure out what's going on with you. Like figure out yourself.
You want me to focus on me?
Yes, please.
It's so much easier to focus on her and what she's done wrong.
I know, it's true. Mm-hmm. But there's so much value, and we want to share with you a few tips that we have found along the way here. One is to be self-aware, and we talk about being self-aware in the realm of knowing how you feel, knowing what's going on with you. And quite frankly, I don't have time for that. Do you have time for that?
I never have time for self-awareness. No.
It's critical, and we don't take enough time for it.
No.
It's actually the first part of 4 steps in emotional intelligence, and we have other courses on that. But we love helping people become more aware. Take the time to really understand what's going on with you. If you rush past that, I think you've missed something big.
And so when we start talking about being self-aware, one of the things that I really start thinking about is the term Halsted. And it's an acronym, but it stands for hungry, angry, lonely, stressed, tired, and depressed. Mm-hmm. Okay, and a lot of times in addiction language we talk about this because the Halsted is oftentimes what triggers people into doing negative things. But we find the same is true in relationships. That in fact we've always joked, when Scott gets hungry, you really
gets pretty cranky.
I get angry. I get
Betty
angry.
White's got nothing
I
on you.
love that. Not Betty White specifically, but the actress. Betty White, the actress, she was in Snickers commercial. Love that commercial.
Yes,
it is such a good because that's how people do get, and so we get mad at somebody else even though they've done nothing wrong, and so I remember more often than I would like that I would come home from work and maybe it was just a really long, annoying day, and for whatever reason, I walk in and Abigail will be like, "Yay, dinner's ready." What? I don't have 5 minutes to sit down. Just let me take a break, right? Like, okay, you can do that. I wasn't trying to say you couldn't. Or come home after a long day. Hey, you know what? Why don't you take a few minutes? Dinner's gonna be ready in about a half an hour. You knew I was coming home, right? It doesn't matter what she says because it's not about her. It's about me. It's what's going on with me. That I'm angry, or maybe I'm overly hungry or stressed, maybe have road rage, whatever it might be, but we end up trying to take things out on the other person. That's why self-awareness is so important. If you don't do this, you're going to get into fights that you're going to look back and go, I don't even know why I was mad. The person will be like, you need a ho-ho. You need a Twinkie.
No, some protein.
That's
no
true.
Sugar.
That's
no
right.
Sugar.
You need yogurt.
And there's so many variances of feeling words. There are lighter ones, medium ones, more intense ones. Identifying how you feel can also be a great way to communicate with others. We'll talk about that later, I'm sure. But when you identify how you feel, irritated is really different than exasperated.
Should I just say I'm mad?
No.
But okay, how about I'm just sad?
5-year-olds do learn some really awesome words.
It's amazing how slow we are in our stating emotional words.
A little bit stunted, for sure. We believe in you taking some time to process, and we use what's called the 3 Ps. The first is to pause, and the second is to process, and then you can plan out what you want to say. So let's unpack that a little bit for you because it's really helpful.
So the first thing, pause. What that means is you don't engage.
But I want
now,
to.
There are some people going, yes, thank you. Everyone's supposed to talk right away. And because your personality type is you don't want to engage. Now, we're not saying never engage. We're saying pause. Take a moment. Take a deep breath. If God's in your life, pray. But really just step back for a moment and say, okay, I need to, whew. And then you start to process.
It's really beautiful. That's when you can talk to God and kind of figure what's going on and try to wrestle with what's at play here. What was going on with me when I was coming home or on my way or when dinner didn't come together fast enough or whatever it may be. Because sometimes there's something underlying. It's like I feel like my opinion doesn't matter, or I don't feel heard, or I'm frustrated that this thing that should have been taken care of by now still isn't. And sometimes it's not quite as connected as I mean,
Hmm.
it's not what you think it's going to be, is what I'm
Sure.
trying to say. You can dig a little bit deeper to kind of process what's really going on. Now, sometimes you don't actually have to engage anybody after that because you realize there's something that you can deal with. But sometimes you need to plan out what you're going
Well,
to say
and
to someone else.
before that, I want to go back to something you were saying
Mhm.
a few minutes ago about feelings,
Mhm.
and this is where you really, really, really process your feelings. And there's the chart in emotional intelligence is so good. You
Mhm.
referenced it earlier,
Mhm.
but not, as Abigail said, not all feelings are the same. Irritated and exasperated are very different. But identify what you're feeling. Are you feeling a high level, a medium level, a low level? And oftentimes we think we're angry,
Mhm.
but we're not.
Oh, it's probably hurt, or you feel
Yeah,
rejected, or even
yeah,
feeling anxious.
yeah, anxious. And I remember with our kids, when one would scare the other, or if you get scared, what's your first response? Oftentimes is to want to hit the person.
Yeah.
Like, you're angry, but you're not angry. You're scared.
Mhm.
But anger is very much a root emotion for most people.
Mhm.
But if you don't process through it, you're going to say, "Well, I'm angry," but no, I'm not.
Mhm.
I'm actually feeling this. And in that processing, it allows for the emotions to cool down,
Mhm.
right? And so you don't want to engage that person when you're in the emotion,
Right.
because you're not going to try to solve anything if you're in a negative emotion.
Mhm.
It's much better to take that time, pull back from the emotion, as Abigail said, identify, process what's going on, and then you can make the plan.
Mhm.
And the plan is, what do you need to say if you need to say something?
Yeah.
And that plan is so key.
And sometimes we need to be preventative. Like, we're not actually in this situation yet. Maybe you're planning a family gathering or a family trip, some sort of vacation or holiday get together. And those types of things really could benefit from a little preventative three P's. For
Mm-hmm.
you really pray and pause and think, what do I feel about this thing that's coming up? Because it could just be excitement, and that's awesome. But if there are other negative feelings that are tied to an upcoming event, it's really good to take stock and figure out what's going on, which could be as easily as taking 30 minutes to journal and to pray and kind of jot down some of the things that are going through you. Instead, I think what we do is, I've got this stuff that I'm feeling about this thing that we're going to be at. Maybe it's a wedding or Christmas or whatever.
Family vacation.
Family vacation. I've got this thing coming up, and I know I'm supposed to be excited, but I've got all this other stuff going on. And what happens then is, I've got this stuff going on, and we're trying to plan. And Scott mentioned something really innocent, like 6 o'clock or only one bag or whatever, and I just snap
Mm-hmm.
because I've got all this tumultuous stuff, especially for me because I'm more of an internal processor. I've got all these things going on. My first thing is to like latch into you or blame
Right.
it on you. And actually, it's just all this stuff going on with me. So you can see, I hope, how wise it is for us to take stock of these types of things.
Well, and when planning an event, right, and you've done the event before, especially if it didn't go well, or even what
You
did
got
go
all
well,
that baggage.
you've got to be able to be willing to process the baggage, because
Mhm.
otherwise you're going to step on a landmine.
Mhm.
And or that your spouse will, or your family will, or whoever will,
Mhm.
and you need to be able to say, okay, what was it that happened last time?
Mhm.
Because, like, we call those hot stove issues. You don't want to go back and touch it again because it hurt, but you end up touching it again because you don't realize what happened. And it's in the same thing. And I remember, I could any number, but one of the things I remember, going on vacation when we first got married,
Mhm.
I get emotional at times. I would get frustrated, and that was a trigger for Abigail. Growing up, there were times that family vacation didn't always go smoothly, and then there's vice versa with me. And Christmas trees are one of the things that we have had so many wonderful
Oh my
conversations about.
goodness.
And so it has nothing to do with her, right? It had nothing to do with me. But as she steps on that landmine,
Mhm.
there's this big explosion that she doesn't even know what happened. She's going to get frustrated and angry and go, "Well, I'm not touching that until it happens again." And that's where that going back, but also looking at what did work.
Mhm.
I think that's something we don't always look at either. Say, what worked well with this?
Mhm.
We found that Abigail making lists, which I never make lists. That's not my personality. That's not my family of origin. That's nothing about my life experience. None of it. And I didn't respect the list. I now respect
It's
the
true. You
list.
didn't respect list. I was gonna say, can I get that recorded? But
N-
you're already.
I am
recording.
recording it.
Yes.
But if she
Respect the
expected
list.
me to want to make a list
Yeah.
or to follow the list,
Mhm.
that's not going to work as well because my makeup, all that stuff I just talked about, I don't I don't think in lists that way,
Mhm.
but she does, and so that's where leveraging each other's strengths also can be beneficial.
Mhm. So take some time to identify what's going on with you because that's the starting place.